All right, everybody, you know what time it is. The Real Talk Sports Show is coming up right now. Welcome everyone to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we thank God for all those of you who are watching us here on various platforms around the world. Appreciate those of you who are checking us out on YouTube Live, on Facebook, also on Twitch, and now more recently on LinkedIn. We appreciate you for stopping in and joining us. And also, we want to give a big shout out to those of you who are watching on the replay. We know many of you guys check us out afterwards because you're busy, your schedule is kind of rocking and rolling. So we get it, and we appreciate you. Just want to say thank you for joining us as well. Remember, folks, to follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You see it right there, and I'll just have the flashcard come up so you can see it again. Remember, on YouTube, when you go on there, subscribe, and subscribe. And you know what you got to do? You got to hit that bell, bing, and it will let you know whenever we are having a show on the air. So please, man, please, sir, if you have not done already, subscribe. We are trying to get to that magical 1,000 subscribers, and only you can help us do that. Like just like my man Smokey the Bear said, only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can help us get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we thank you in advance for those of you who are doing it. All right. You know, it's going to be a lot of football tonight. The Queen will be joining us in just a little bit, and I don't know. I can't guarantee if she might actually burst through the screen with excitement because she's just coming off her Michigan Wolverines winning a national title, and now her beloved Detroit Lions, after years of frustration, have reached the NFC Championship again for the first time since 1991. So it's been over 30 years since they have made it. So, like I said again, I don't know what Tree's going to do when she comes on. We'll see. But before we get into that, I want to give you some updates on what was going on in the NBA. And of course, you know, we are here in Atlanta. So we have to talk about the Atlanta Hawks. And it really, I tell you about it really has been frustrating covering this team. You know, this is a team that I say it every week. A couple of years ago, they had us all on hype lock. Uh, just incredible series against New York Knicks. Later went on to play in the finals against excuse me, before that, great series against Philadelphia 76ers. And then shockingly got the Eastern Conference Finals against the eventual champions, the Milwaukee Bucks, and gave the Bucks all they can handle until Trae Young got injured. And we were thinking, man, we're about to get some unbelievable basketball here in Atlanta. We're going to be on the road to championship. They just have to tweak a few things, add a couple of pieces. Womp, 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 womp. That's not what happened. Instead, things went backwards. And right now, the Atlanta Hawks, after another loss last night, we're in the second half. We don't know what happened, but they once again collapsed in the second half, giving up 65 points in the second half and lose 122 to 107 against the Sacramento Kings. And I tell you what makes that loss against the Kings even more painful is the fact that a guy who was a huge contributor to that team And a guy who we thought we were going to build their team around is on the Sacramento Kings. Now, he didn't have a good game last night, only scored 8 points in 25 minutes. But I believe that this Hawks team has really, again, obviously went backwards, but the biggest key is that they kind of disrupted kind of what they had. They had a nice little nucleus of young players. It seemed like these guys got along well. They all talked about the fact that, people had, basically wrote them off as being a young team, couldn't make it happen, soft, and they were rolling. And I think them playing with their chip on the shoulder made a huge difference in the way they play. Afterwards, I knew we were in trouble when our star player, when they talked to him about playing and the intensity it takes, he mentioned and said, the regular season kind of boring. I said, oh, that's a problem because at the end of the day, what that's telling me is, and I'm not trying to say the young man does not give great effort because he does. And oftentimes he's a one-man gang. But when your star player, the guy who's like kind of the focus of your team, says he kind of not into the regular season, that's not a good sign because the regular season is what you need to get yourself in a proper seeding position where you hopefully can make a deep run into the playoffs. And really, ever since that season after that, the Hawks have not been the same team. And really, since they've made these trades, getting rid of 2/3 of the nucleus they had, I'm talking about John Collins and Kevin Huter, the team has not improved. They went backwards. At least the team was 500 last year. Now, I grant you, we still are we're not at the halfway point yet. I get that. But this team has got to do something. And once again, we find this team in trade rumors. So you have one of your best players in DeJounte Murray, who last night balled out. Let me give you his stats last night in Trae Young's absence because Trae did not play. 30 points, 6 assists, and 10 rebounds for Mr. DeJounte Murray. Excuse me, 35 points. Played 40 minutes. It's outstanding. And yet, they want to trade this guy. And this is the guy, keep in mind, that has had impact on the team in regards to getting Trae Young to be a better defensive player. Since he has come on board, Trae Young has played some defense. Now, I'm not going to try to say he plays stellar defense because he doesn't, but at least he is, along with DeJounte Murray, in the top 15 in the league in steals. He plays the passing lanes much better. So clearly, DeJounte has an impact on Trae Young. But I'm wondering, what is the real problem? Why the Hawks can't get over the hump? Why this team can't get back to being a team that's a top performer? What is the beef? I think some of it is lack of beef. They need some big men down low. That's me. But now you guys know I already prepped you on this. So if the screen lights up with just a barrage of glittering white teeth, hair flashing in the wind, and lots of blue, don't say I didn't warn you. I'm going to bring on one of the most beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV, and one of the happiest women in America, the one and only Tree Dolman is back in the building. What's going on, Tree?
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, everybody.
I tell you what, look, see how hype she is? Look at that. Now, she always is beautiful, but look, the teeth have an extra shine. Look at this. And, of course, let's get the close-up. Dun, 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 dun.
One pride.
One game away from what Tree predicted. So you guys, one he said I got to go back and have my editor help me out and edit. She said to us, it was barely 4 games into the season, and she said it. She said, my Lions are going to the Super Bowl and they're going to win. And we were like, oh, okay, Tree, no problem.
Right.
Got you. We were like, all right, we know you bleed blue. But
Right.
guess what, boys? How many games are you away from the Super Bowl now, Tree?
1 game away from the Super Bowl, 2 games away from a Super Bowl championship.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you got to be excited. Lions put up some, they just did what they had to do. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes and we'll get right into it. We're just wrapping up now talking about the Atlanta Hawks and the frustration that we have watching this team. And every single year, them talking about what they're going to trade one of their key players. And for what? What are they going to get in return? Now they're talking about trade DeJounte Murray.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they can't get it together. They have to get it together. And one thing that the Hawks have to understand, when you have great players, you can't trade them. You have to keep them. That's the whole point.
Right. Yeah, and here's a guy like I mentioned earlier, a guy that's actually impacted the team with his like we say, we got that dog in him. He's got that mentality, he wants to win. He always is giving 100%. And really, he's helped Trey improve his defense. I mean, him and Trey both are in the top 20 in the league in steals. Now I tell people Trey's not a good one-on-one defender because of his size, but he now has been much more active in playing the passing lanes. And he has what I remember Coach Bud used to talk about when the Hawks made their great runs back under him. He has active hands now. And you know, Trey, in them passing lanes, if you got active hands, you can play them right. You can wreak a little havoc.
Oh yeah, active hands are good.
So hopefully, again, he'll be the team. I just don't even know what to say anymore. I just think that you took a lot away the team chemistry when you kind of disrupted their little mini big three. Because I mean, I'm not trying to say Kevin Hughes is a superstar, and John has had up and down, but that trio, you said we got something here we can build on. There was team chemistry, and I know that sometimes John and Trey had their issues, but that goes on with any team. You have situations where time to time when it's a competitive sport, you can get that. And Hawks blew the whole thing up and got what in return? Nothing. They're worse off now than they were before.
Yep. Told you they shouldn't have traded John Collins.
Yeah, because here's the thing. They could have kept John and now have the the breaking of Jalen Johnson, who's become an outstanding player. Looks like he's going to be a future star. So now you really have a lot of front line dexterity.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Sadiq Bey, good player. But I mean, John, Jalen, Trey, Kevin Huter, I think this team would have been a better team.
I
I'm
mean,
just
don't
saying.
get wrong. Sadiq Bey, great player. Excellent
Yes, he
player.
is.
I like
Yep.
him a lot. I think he's very great for the Atlanta Hawks. I personally think John Collins he brought more. And that's one of the things, if you guys remember, I used to say all the time about John Collins. It's not just his scoring. It's not just the defense. It was the things that he brought to the game that you don't see on the stat sheet. He just brought so much energy and he had charisma and when the time was needed, the block shot or the dunk that just lit up the arena and lit up the fans and lit up the team and just changed the energy. He was just one of those players. And the fact that they don't have him anymore, you're now starting to see how much he actually brought because he brought a lot. Oops.
Yeah, I think that even myself, I don't think that I even realized just how much he brought to the table. I always liked him because I just thought he was a great guy. Always loved the story of when he first came to the Hawks. His mom actually was she kind of stole the show. She was just very candid, great woman. Talked about the story, how they moved around, and how he lived in several different areas. And just man, yeah, he's missed. And now I think that everybody realizes, like you said, how much that his value was to the team besides just, scoring. Because
Yeah.
for a while, him and Trey were the face of the franchise.
Yeah. And if you think about it, he was the longest standing Hawk that we had. He was our
Right.
vet team. And he had been here. He loves Atlanta. And that was a tough one. But again, I understand it's a business. You have to do what you feel you need to do in order to bring the championship to the city. That's the ultimate goal. That's what they all play for. But I just always thought that was a bad one because he was respected in our city. He was respected
Right.
by the media. He was respected by everyone. You can't always say that about players, but hey, the Hawks have to
Truly
do what
right.
they do. But I do think that it's time for a turnaround. They need to turn some things around because I think that the Hawks can go further, but they're going to have to bring in some key pieces to get there.
Yeah, no doubt. They're going to have to find a way to, like I mentioned earlier, I think they need some help in the paint. Um, it's just like I said, sometimes you watch them, you don't know what they need. Because like you and I discussed last week, I mean, at the end of the day, two teams that have dominant big men, the Hawks playing very well. The Philadelphia 76ers, I mean, Joel Embiid, speaking of him, dropped, what did he hit, 70 last night?
70,
71?
7-0. 7-0.
And then another big man, Carl Anthony Towns, dropped 62 for the Timberwolves, but they lost.
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, those teams I mentioned that have those dominant big men, the Hawks have played them very well. And as a matter of fact, it's not been the Embiids or the Carl Anthony Towns that really hurt them. It's actually the backcourt. Some of the backcourt players like Maxey for the 76ers. Those are the guys that have really done the damage. So I really, at this point, I'm scratching my head. I mean, I don't know what to think about the Hawks. I don't know what they need to do. Like I said, like the owner, Tony Wrestler, like the team, but they've got to do something because we can't take it. Tired of this. Tired of covering losers. But I tell you who's not losers, our sponsors. So keep it locked right here as you hear more from our sponsors. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Thank you.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm Aria, the first AI presenter for Real Talk Sports. We want to get your feedback about my participations in the show, so please leave comments. So stay tuned, the Real Talk Sports Show is coming up.
All right, we are back here. And Tree, we have you, we got you double time. Which one would you prefer, the wide screen or this screen? Let's try the other screen. Hang on a second. Let's go over here. I think she's on mute. Let's unmute her. Let's try this. There we are. Ah, there's the tree we need right there. Pump it up, pump, pump. Da-da!
Okay.
That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so we're not quite sure, guys, what the Hawks are going to need to put things together, but certainly they're going to have to turn around right now. I think they're right in 10th place, right on the edge from the play-in tournament, where you really don't want to be there. You want to get to that first round without having to play in your way, but hopefully they'll be able to do that. Let's go down the stats really quickly as we wrap up and then get into talking what we want to talk about, which is football. Multiple players in double figures for the Hawks. Jalen Johnson, 11 points, 7 rebounds. Sadiq Bey, 13 points, 7 rebounds. Clint Capella, that guy is the unsung hero in the paint. 11 points, but 12 rebounds for Clint. And Bogey, 18 points and 4 assists for the Hawks. But again, Hawks go down 122 to 107 as they give up 65 points in the second half to the Sacramento Kings, which kind of got them in trouble. And the other problem is that they only scored 16 points in the second quarter as they fell down by 17 points going into the second half. Hawks 18 up, 25 down, and find themselves just on the fringe of not being in the playoffs. So hopefully we'll be able to turn that stuff around. All right, let's get to what y'all want to talk about, boys and girls. NFL playoffs, outstanding over the weekend. The games were excellent. And of course, we know that the most excitement came out of Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
As
And it was the most watched.
Right, no doubt. Lions hosting a divisional playoff game for the first time in over 20 years and now find themselves in the NFC Championship game, first time since 1991. So you're talking almost 34 years. And to Tampa Bay Buccaneers' credit, they gave your boys all they can handle and then some.
They did. And it's funny because I didn't think it was going to be a blowout. We know that teams at the end of the season, they're not the same team that we saw at week 6 when we went and blew them out at home. So I knew that they were going to play much better. I knew that they were gunning for us, but also knew that we were going to win and that we were up for the challenge. And so I'm so proud of my Detroit Lions.
Yeah, you should be. Let's go to social media here. We got our man H.C. Hardy. He was talking about the Hawks. He said Capella, Hunter, and can you read the rest of that tree? Because my glasses.
Sure. Clint Capella and DeAndre Hunter both make $20 million after a year. I mean, $20 million a year from Minnesota. Rudy Gobert, who is making $41 million and has played for Snyder in Utah. Interesting. Well, I mean, At the same token, though, Rudy Gobert has been Defensive Player of the Year. I think was it
Right.
3 times now. So
3 times. Yep.
you know that when you're Defensive Player of the Year, the price goes up, and then when you're the second time, the price goes up, and then when you're the third time, the price just keeps going up. So we need to get some stats like that and some titles like that before they can start requesting more money. But I do think Clint Capella, you know, the year that he was the #1 rebounder in the NBA, that also speaks volumes. And I just think next time the contract negotiations are up, that should definitely be considered. And maybe they can put some things in there where, hey, if you're the #1 rebounder or even top 5 rebounder in the NBA, then you get this much of a bonus. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think H.C. Hardy, he was trying to do a little GM work, trying to negotiate a trade, thinking that, hey, I got 2 players that they're getting $20 million. I'll trade for 1 player for $41 million. But it's going to be a tough grab to get a Rudy Gobert for 2 players. Don't be wrong, Clint Capella is not a bad player. Neither is DeAndre Hunter. But like you said, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Now you're going to have to ante up some more than just those 2 guys. You probably have to do that and some picks.
Well, if we can get Rudy Gobert, game changer, period.
Oh, there's no doubt, because his defense and his ability to be a rim protector would be a huge boost for the Hawks, because the Hawks have one of the worst defenses in the NBA. So, yeah, that would be a big one, no doubt about it. Well, guys, like I mentioned, when we do this show, we have beauty, and we also have a champion. Let you guys know about this young man. He joins us whenever he can. He is not a 1 but 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's also a National Black College Alumni Hall of Famer. First ever Carolina Panthers defensive draft selection. And he's also a member of the Fort Valley State Sports Hall of Fame. I'm talking about number 38, the one and only Tyrone Poole is back in the building. Mr. Poole, welcome back, sir.
How we doing, everybody? Hello, Miss Tree. How you doing, Jonathan, and everybody listening and watching? Hope everybody's doing
great. I want to spotlight Tyrone for a second. And he's all in blue, and boy, but put your dukes up, boys and girls. Put them up. Put them up.
Yeah.
Put them up. I like that, sir. I like that. And guys, before I do that, let's just remember that if you guys are trying to get in shape, please contact Mr. Poole, because he is a fitness guru, and also he has the ability to get your diet right. So contact Tyrone, and we'll do more of that and let you guys know later on. Well, Tyrone, NFC, AFC playoffs were must-see TV. Every game was great. We'll start first, of course, with the Detroit Lions. And I guess what gets me is looking at their record right now. And after that win, the Lions are 14-5.
Yeah.
How about that?
And they're really 15-4, but I digress.
Oh, here we go.
Well, it's true. Am I lying? Just tell me if I'm lying.
No.
Okay. What about you, Jonathan? Am I lying?
I got no comment except the Lions are 15-5. They're doing good.
So you have no comment. Okay. Well, Tyrone understands that we really did win that game. Yeah. We really did. So,
yeah.
I mean, you know.
And hey, I'm gonna put this in for you, Tree. You know, now I don't know if you guys talked about this or heard about it, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the listeners and viewers probably have sniffed a little bit of this conspiracy thing going around with the NFL. They say the last 3 years, basically the color of the actual Super Bowl logo has pretty much indicated the teams that were going to be going to the Super Bowl. So you look, I guess, 3 years back, look at the color. I wish we could pull it up, or maybe we should have prepared for it, but I just thought about it, talking about Detroit. Detroit could go to the Super Bowl. And if you go back the last 3 years, you look at where the Rams and the Chiefs played, go look at the color of the logo colors. Now, all of this prior or after the NFL signed these deals with, these gambling casinos and everything like that, right? So the Rams and the Chiefs It was the Rams and the Chiefs played in the Super Bowl. But look at the logo for this year. It's purple, and a little bit of red in it, right? So a lot of people are saying, Baltimore, their colors are purple and the Chiefs' colors are red. But here's something else that you want to throw into that mix too. This is why I say it could open up for Detroit. I wouldn't be surprised if I think Detroit, after watching Detroit play, I really do think Detroit can get to the Super Bowl. And I think Detroit is missing one or two players on offense from being that team that is always going to be considered for the next 3 years possibility of going to the Super Bowl. I think they need a number one receiver. They don't quite have a number one receiver, somebody that really scares the opposition. So hopefully they'll find it in the offseason or the draft. But if you go back and look at the colors, talking about these colors, right? I just Googled it just to make sure I was accurate on what I heard, right? You always got to do your research. And sometimes you can't even trust the internet. But when you combine red and blue, it creates purple.
Yes, sir.
The Chiefs are red. The Lions are blue. So everybody started to say, well, maybe the NFL is kind of trying to throw people off. Purple. Everybody thinking the Ravens and thinking, the Chiefs. But or should I say the Ravens and the 49ers, right? But if you mix blue and red, it makes a little bit of it makes purple. And they said that if you look at the last 3 Super Bowl logos, the color that was the minimum or the minimum color or the less colored in that logo, that was the team that actually won the Super Bowl. So I'm like, these last 3 years now, when I played, I think it wasn't like that. But now that the NFL has got into all this, casinos coming into DraftKings and all that, I think the NFL could be bought, man. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Could be bought. Could be, man. NFL is becoming more and more like WWE. Yeah, becoming very scripted. A lot of stuff going on, and I don't really know what to make of some of these interviews of former players that come out to say, yeah, man, there's some slim shady stuff going on. We really don't know. All I do know is that every week you can pick a game and you can either see a referee call or something that went on. You say, what's going on with that? But anyway, we can't take any of the shine away from the Detroit Lions.
No. I'm not taking no shine away from Detroit. Like I said, I literally think Detroit can go in to San Francisco. And what I actually did, I want to see how Detroit performed on grass, because sometimes that can impact a team that plays on turf goes into grass. But I looked at their schedule and they put up some points when they played teams on grass. So I'm not fearing that. That was my one concern, how they perform on grass. Everybody used to talk about Barry Sanders, right? You put him on that turf, man, Barry will break your ankles. But put him on grass, now you got to go to them longer cleats. The grass and dirt kind of shifts. So I looked at all that, and, man, Detroit had put up some numbers, man. So, again, I think it's all about Jared Goff. I think if Jared Goff can actually throw the ball where the guys are open, right? Throw it to the guys who are open and get the yards, whether it's a 5-yard pass, which is a 5-yard extension of the run, find an open guy, right? And I think they got enough guys on offense to make things happen. I think the offensive coordinator is going to have to call a good game. I think defensively, they'll be able to handle the 49ers if Dabo is not playing. So, but it's going to be a good opportunity for Detroit. I'm not throwing no Detroit is not whatever. I'm that person that you got to show me. You can't just show me with one battle. You got to show me consistently. And now I'm beginning to believe in Detroit. That's why I say I believe they are one player away from being great. And if the Ford family would throw some money at the Detroit Lions, I believe the Detroit Lions going forward, man, would be a contender every year, just like we were with the Patriots.
All right, what we got there on social media there? What we got?
Dennis Burrows said, I'd like to see the Lions and the Chiefs make the Super Bowl and blow up the sport betting world. He said Goodell and DraftKings owners would jump off the Brooklyn Bridge.
Again, go and look at Google. I know they talk about the Ravens and the 49ers. But again, like that conspiracy theory I just said, when you mix red and blue together, you get purple. And the logo for the Super Bowl was purple. I think they say the NFL don't want to change it or whatever because they believe people picking up on their thing. You know, it just goes to show you. But you look at that logo, if they have changed it, go look at the previous logo. It was purple. And when you mix blue and red together, you get purple. Detroit got that blue, and the Chiefs got that red.
Yeah, there's right there. You look it up on Google. It's actually an article on Fox Sports. It says the Super Bowl logo predicting who will play in the game again, question mark. Said in 2021, the NFL made a slight tweak to the Super Bowl logo. Instead of being just silver to match that kind of like Lombardi trophy, the logo took a look at a modern twist on the old concept using vibrant colors and incorporating more of the host cities. They said now that's how we got the great Super Bowl logo conspiracy that some fans believing that the colors predict the teams that will be playing in the game. And they said the first one was the game in Los Angeles featuring the palm trees. They said teams who played in the Super Bowl in 2022, the Rams, whose color blue and yellow, and the Bengals, whose colors were orange and black. And all those colors were in that. They said the next year, same thing. It said the red and white and green were all in the logo. And guess what? The Chiefs wearing red and white beat the Eagles wearing green and black. So, yeah, definitely, man, it's on the radar. Everybody's looking for an angle. At the end of the day, everybody's looking for the angle, especially the bettors. They're all looking for it. Let's go to social media again. Mr. H.C. Hardy.
H.C. Hardy, Lions signed former Eagles Cardinals tight end Zach Ertz. He will definitely be an additional help with the offense if they can get him ready. With Laporta playing with a hyperextended knee the past 2 weeks. I agree. Yes, I did see that, H.C. Hardy. I definitely saw that, and happy that they did, and definitely hoping Laporta can get better. I'm glad that after this game, we'll have a bye before the Super Bowl, but definitely want to see him get better. So looking forward to see what Zach can do.
Let's comment here before we go to a break.
Doesn't matter what color the logo is. The only color that is important here is green.
Hey, Dennis, I've known Dennis since I was Dennis, my brother, we've known one another for 6 decades. We getting old, bro. I'm just saying. This is a guy that played with me in the dirt in our backyard. We used to have the little Apollo spacecraft and tore up the yard. We both got beaten for that, but that's a whole nother story. That's many moons ago. All right, guys, keep it locked right here. We're going to talk more about the NFL playoffs and take a little deep dive in some of the stats and some of the games and how they worked out and what you guys think. Who might be the winner of the NFC and AFC championship games? We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go nowhere. Thank you.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net. The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how.
Coming up next, it's the Real Talk Sports Show, bringing you great sports talk with perspective. Now, here's our host, Jonathan Simmons.
Welcome back, everybody. Again, want to salute those of you who might be watching for the first time on LinkedIn Live. Appreciate you for tuning in to us. Also, big shout out to those of you on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and of course, Roku. And you're saying, well, how do you get on Roku? Well, it's kind of a little two-step procedure. You go on to the Tiki Live section and put in Phoenix Entertainment Group, and you can watch us on the big screen on Roku. Let's go back to social media here as we chop it up talking the NFL playoffs. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah, thank you, brother. We appreciate you very much. I think H.C. Hardy's got a comment. What are you talking about there?
Okay. I think I'm back now. Okay. He says Sue is still a free agent. Lions should bring him back to be a gap filler on the defensive line. It's funny that you say that because there were talks about bringing Sue back, and they were saying, oh, he may possibly be reunited. So I guess that didn't work out. And then from what I heard, the Lions said it's not going to happen. So much for that one.
Well,
I think it's all about chemistry too, man. You know, just because a guy out there, man, I'm like, you got to have chemistry. And Detroit got a good chemistry thing going right now.
That part, right? All grit. Sullivan said, oh, shucky ducky. It's the one and only old man Sully in the house, baby. Jonathan Tree Tyrone.
What's up, Sully, buddy? We appreciate you, man. We appreciate your faithful lock in each and every day. Okay, let's take a look at these lines and take a look at some of the stats they had in the game last week. And Tyrone, you mentioned Jared Goff. Well, he had a tremendous game for the Lions, 30 of 43, 287 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they got some decent rushing. Former Georgia Tech and Alabama running back star Jahmyr Gibbs, 9 carries, 74 yards. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, he might not take you deep, buddy, but he knows how to make the key catches. 8 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown for Amon St. Brown. So, well-balanced. Sam Laporta, before he got hurt, 9 catches, 65 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs also had 40 yards and receptions out of the backfield. Jamison Williams out of the backfield, 2 receptions, 35 yards. And Brock Wright, coming in as the tight end, caught a nifty bomb, 29 yards to put Detroit in scoring position late in the game. So, yeah, man, the team is just right there. They're right on the cusp of being a dominant team. One spot where they have a little bit of a problem is in defensive backfield because Baker Mayfield lit them up 26 of 41, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions, including the game clincher that allowed the Lions to head to the NFC Championship game. So, Tree, what would you like to see the Lions add? Well, first of all, what do you think is going to be the key for them to knock off the 49ers last week? Let's discuss that. What do you think is going to be the key for them in order to beat a very good 49ers team?
The key is always defense. You all have heard me say it a million times. Defense is what wins championships. And even if you can score, you have to be able to stop the other team. You have to be able to make plays and get the ball back and stop them from scoring. So our key to winning against the 49ers will be defense, defense, defense.
Tyrone Poole, your thoughts. What's going to take for those guys in Royal Blue to knock off the 49ers?
I just go out there and play, man. Again, it's about it's game time. There is no they're going to do what they're going to do. The 49ers going to look at what gave the Lions trouble against the Bucs, and that's what they're going to attack. So like you hit it right on the head, you entry. I'm going to say it in this way. The 49ers, look for them to throw the ball deep. They're going to test deep because they show vulnerability. The Lions show vulnerability. And plus, in the NFL, it's so easy to get pass interference call. I still think they need to change that rule, go to the college rule. If it's a flagrant pass interference, 15 yards. If it's just some incidental, 5 yards, man. And as far as defense, in the playoffs, you got to have a bend, but don't break defense. They can move the ball up and down the field all they want, as long as they kicking field goals and not scoring touchdowns. And Steve Young said this one time. Steve Young said every time offensively, when they got down in the red zone and they had to kick a field goal, he felt like they were that much closer to losing. again, in the playoffs, it's all about scoring touchdowns in that red zone. So the team that can score in the red zone, touchdowns, not field goals, that's the team that's going to win.
Which will be my Detroit Lions.
Hey, you guys see, really, you know what? You don't need to ask me who going to win and who going to be in the Super Bowl. Look at my colors. Right? My shirt, blue and gray. Look at the ring. You got red pads and you got blue pads. Detroit and Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Okay, Tyrone.
There we go. Tyrone made a prediction.
Man. I think he can do it. They just got to go out there. Detroit got to go out there and don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. According to 49ers, they've been here before. Kyle Shanahan has been there before. Campbell, he gonna be energized, but he got to calm himself down. And the players, they go out there with energy, but controlled energy, right? And I'm telling you, I think they can actually beat the 49ers.
Yes.
You're right. Campbell did look kind of amped up. Go ahead, Tree.
Sullivan said, I want the Lions to beat the 49ers. Yes, Sullivan, me too. And I do want to say something. Because I normally never cheer against any of my husband's former teams. But I know that my husband understands this one. And so he also would be rooting for me and happy for me and my Lions because he knew that I was the biggest Detroit Lion fan ever. And so unfortunately, Sunday I'm rooting for my Lions. And normally, like I said, I don't root against any of his former teams, but we're rooting against the 49ers for this one.
Yeah, and then Brock Purdy didn't look good to me, man. I'm like, he did not look like an MVP candidate to me, man. I hate to say it, Cam Newton. I'm like, Cam says a lot of quarterbacks out there that they're just told don't lose the game, but you can't put the ball in their hand. They're game managers. But again, Brock Purdy, look for him to actually try to bounce back. Just as long as he don't try to do too much. But if he tries to do too much to make up for last week, then that could be trouble for the 49ers. And you may see Kyle Shanahan pull back some plays or whatever. But again, Brock Purdy did not look like that MVP candidate that they say he was.
Well, you're right there. What we say about what we got there on social media, Tree? I think it's H.C. Hardy.
H.C. Hardy said former Jonesboro Cardinal and Lions DB Cameron Sutton had a good day against the Bucs. Yes, he did.
Yeah, to give a shout out, Jonesboro, of course, one of our favorite high school teams that we cover all year long. Just letting you know the South Side still can put them out there. Yes, let's take a look at Brock Purdy's stats here. 23 of 39. This is a guy that all season long had been around 70%, and this puts him right around 60. 252 yards, only one touchdown, but the equalizer, Christian McCaffrey, a guy who really, I think, should get a lot more credibility or a lot more talk about being an MVP. 17 carries, 98 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Mr. McCaffrey. He's been really the best all-around back in the league for the entire year. I think he's either just about or has already eclipsed 2,000 yards from scrimmage. So, yeah, man, Christian McCaffrey, the equalizer, 98 yards on the ground, also 7 receptions for 30 yards as well. And remember, you got the Swiss Army knife. You got Deebo Samuels. He was held to only 2 receptions, but that guy's always a threat. Brandon Ayuk.
I think he's injured. He's 50-50 for the game.
A little banged up.
Yeah.
George Kittle.
Now he is 50-50. I do want to say that even if he plays, we're still winning.
Well, you both say that. You're a confident Lions fan. Why would you not say it? Listen. Look, here's the bottom line. You look at the Buccaneers stats, like I mentioned, they were able to attack the Lions over the top. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to take a look at. 49ers, like Tyrone said, Brock Purdy, Green Bay's defense, one of the best in the league, kept him under pressure, and he looked uncomfortable in the pocket and relegated him from being a 70% completion guy to just right around 55. And if that's the case, the Lions can win that ball game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that's going to be it. Can they keep the 49ers defense from allowing put any pressure on Mr. Jared Goff? If they do that, keep him upright. Yeah, the Lions have as good a shot as anybody to knock them off. Okay, let's go here and take a look. What's it saying there?
H.C. Hardy said the 49ers will not have an answer for Detroit-owned version of Thunder and Lightning. Running back Montgomery and Gibbs, there will be mismatches of if Gibbs catches out of the backfield. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're both going to definitely get some yardage in. We didn't really get that much yardage. You can tell that Tampa Bay, they were focused on stopping our run. I think that their defense did a good job against our run, actually. We still were able to get some yards, but not typically as much as usual. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to seeing some different things this next game. And I think that I will see, and I think that we will all see more running yards from our running backs.
Yeah, still 114 yards on the ground. Like I said, Jahmyr Gibbs had a good day overall, and especially when you look at his yards per carry. I think he averaged about 7 yards per carry. So if he does that against the 49ers, Detroit could be on their way. And I think H.C. Hardy has summed it up best. He says this. He says, doggone it. Bring out the Gators, baby.
Fedora and fur coats. Detroit will be in Vegas. Yes, we will. H.C. Hardy.
There's no doubt. And guys, we have planned to also be there in Vegas to bring you a week of Super Bowl events. And so we're going to let you guys know if you say, look, you want to kind of be there, part of it you want to sponsor, we will have some opportunities available for you. And we will be letting you know about that more and more as time goes on in the next days or so. All right, one last break as you get a chance to hear from our sponsors. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment, and please do not go anywhere.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson. Let me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
We're back, guys, with the final segment of the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, the lovely and beautiful Queen Tree Dolman, and the Super Bowl champion and Hall of Famer, Mr. Tyrone Poole. All right, so let's shift over quickly to the AFC, where it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams, they play well, especially the Ravens. What do you guys think about this showdown, Ravens against the Chiefs? Who you got?
It's going to be a good one, man. That's going to be a good one. Just like Detroit and the 49ers, this game here, man, this is almost like a pick 'em, in my standpoint. I'm like, I look at the fact when I think about the Patriots and I compare the Patriots and the Chiefs, I see the same thing. I see Andy Reid. He's like a Bill Belichick. You got Patrick Mahomes. He's like a Tom Brady. Anytime you got that dude behind center, your team always got an opportunity. And Kelsey, he's just like Gronkowski. I like that dude there, man. He alone can create matchups that are in favorable of the Chiefs. And then when you try to double Kelsey, now you got these wide receivers who maybe nobody knows, but anybody who plays in the NFL, they are a professional. They just need to have more balls thrown their way. So I think with Kelsey and Mahomes, that gives wide receivers an opportunity, man, to make a name for themselves. And then you got Big Red. I'm like, he gonna draw up something, man. So he gonna put some pressure on that Ravens defense. They're not gonna be able to play like they did against the Texans. They're going against a veteran quarterback. And when I say veteran, I'll say this real quick, and I'll let you guys talk. But I was looking at a highlight one time, and it was Aaron Rodgers, right, when he was with the Packers. And again, talking about how smart these veteran quarterbacks are. So they were playing, I think, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. and there was a guy coming up from the Bucks like he was about to blitz, right? And you could hear, they had the sound things to catch all of the sounds, right? And you could hear Aaron Rodgers point at him and say, "You're not coming, you're not coming." And he just went on to start calling the audible, and the plays like that. See, that is what you get when you get a smart quarterback who's seen everything. And Patrick Mahomes has seen everything. So the Ravens are not going to be able to fool him. I expect the Ravens to play a straight up game and not try to be too fancy with the Chiefs, because they know Patrick Mahomes understands and has seen a lot of stuff, and you got Big Red on the sideline. So I'm really thinking if the Chiefs defense can play real good, man, if they could just get the Ravens to punt more than the Chiefs do, I think that gives the Chiefs an opportunity, man.
Well, I'm gonna do this real quick because our boys got to throw some shade. Okay, here's Todd. Always some kind of inside situation. Look at what he has to say about Brock Purdy. Why he's not gonna have a good game.
I said, listen, Purdy has bigger issues than football. Got a high maintenance girlfriend. They planning $1 million wedding. What does that have to do with anything with football?
It's always him. He's always throwing shade.
$2 million. What does that have to do? Ty said, "Man, I love you, Tyrone. You ramble, man. Who you got?"
He told you got, man.
You know what? Todd, see, that goes to show Todd don't listen. I may ramble, but Todd don't listen. What did I say when I first came on here? I said, you don't have to ask me who I'm going with. I'm showing you who I'm going with. Look at my colors. So
there you go.
That Todd didn't pay attention in class. I'd like to see what his GPA was in class because he didn't pay attention.
Oh, I got to put the shades on with that one, baby. And these are my Vegas shades here. You see, these are the ones that, like the Robert De Niro, the big boy shades. The boys are connected. There you go. All right.
Sullivan said, "Be more. I know my boy 14 is a great kid."
Well, look, let's take a look at Baltimore now. We talked about the Chiefs and their defense. So what did the Chiefs not do well against the Buffalo Bills? They could not stop Josh Allen. Allen, 26 of 39, only 186 yards, but 12 for 72 on the ground and 2 touchdowns. That's a bad sign because the Ravens are led one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL. Lamar Jackson, 16 of 22, 152, 2 touchdowns through the air, 11 carries, 106 yards on the ground. So if they had problems stopping Josh Allen, they're going to really have a problem stopping Mr. Lamar Jackson. So I'm thinking for me, I'm looking for Baltimore to make their first appearance with Lamar Jackson at the helm. I think Jackson wants it bad. He can taste it, signed a big contract, and they showed a clip from him when he was in the NFL draft. And he said, hey, at some point we get this team to the Super Bowl. And I think that this is the year that the Ravens are going to make it and overtake the Chiefs and head to the Super Bowl we'll see. That's my pick, the Ravens. How about you, Tree? Who you like?
I am actually also picking Baltimore because I think that it's going to be a great game, a tight game, but I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like Lamar is going to come through, and I just feel like they're going to win. That's who I'm picking. They've been playing pretty great. The Chiefs are definitely playing much better than how they started, but I think I'm definitely going to go with Baltimore on this one.
And here's something else, let's not forget Steve Spagnuolo. Now, Steve Spagnuolo ain't no spring chicken now. So, he's been around for a while. So, and then let's also, I know you brought up Josh Allen, but I'm pretty sure the Chiefs didn't think Josh Allen would run as much as he did, right? But they are expecting Lamar to run. So you go into a game preparing differently when you know who the quarterback is. So, like I said, Steve Spagnuolo, he's no spring chicken, and they know that what Lamar did last week, he has an opportunity to do it this week. So, again, I expect them to come up with some type of defense in certain situations where they got a spy on Lamar. And their corners, that's where they're going to have to really step it up. And I don't really see that the Ravens have that person that you should be scared of as a corner, right? So Steve Spagnuolo, you got to come with everything. Had a boxing ring, you got to come with it with everything. There is no tomorrow. So it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, no doubt. So you really, like you mentioned, don't have a real big threat. A wild card in this game could be a guy that back in the day was one of the best wide receivers in the league. Now he's on the back end of his career, but you never know. He might be sniffing a ring. Odell Beckham Jr. is lurking around in that wide receiver core, so look for him to maybe try to do something to help them get over the top. Let's go to social media one more time, and then we'll answer David Johnson's question. Let's go here. Todd says, I predict the Lions win it all.
There you go, Tree. Yeah, Todd. One pride. I keep saying this is our year. Sullivan said, it's about time for lunch, fam. Yes, it is. Remember, it's going to have to be after the 20th. Yes. After the 29th when I'm done with the Daniel fast.
He got you. We got you. He got you already set. He said, hey, we're going to do this thing in February. We're going to come up there, have a good time, enjoy ourselves, and get with Sully and enjoy some good fun. All right.
Let's do it.
Last thing by AC Hardy, and we're going to talk about the this crazy coaching thing going on right here. There we go.
Uncle Steve's Lounge said, if he is physically able to breathe on Sunday, it's hard to go against Mahomes. But I'm looking at a very close Ravens win, 24-21. It's so funny that you say that because I'm picking the Ravens to win by 3 points as well. I do think it's going to be a close one. Ty said, I'm coming to lunch, and me and Tyrone going to hug it out.
Ty said, I'm going to show the love. Praise the Lord. I'm going to show the love. That's what I'm going to do. All right. This was the question that was asked by a new viewer on YouTube. It's David Johnson. He said, okay, who do you guys think the Falcons' next head coach will be? That's his question. What do you guys think? Tyrone, do you think it's your old coach? Do you think that they will let him come in here? Because they're saying Arthur Blank wants him, but now the rumor is that the front office doesn't want him here. What do you think? You think Belichick might be a Falcons coach? And do you like that idea?
Well, here's a few things. I'm gonna say this, and a lot of people not talking about it, but it's subconsciously it's still there. A lot of the Falcon fans, you need to ask yourself: do you want to win, or do you want to hold on to anger? And when I say that, the Patriots beat the Falcons in the Super Bowl. Man, let that stuff go. Do you want to win, or do you want, like Denzel Washington said in the movie Training Day, you want to win, so to speak, or do you want to go home? Right? You want to go to jail, you want to go home. Do you want to win, or do you want to keep complaining? Right? So my thing is, I think Belichick would come in and he would add something to what the Patriots, well, what the Falcons don't have. The Falcons don't have an identity, man. Any team that goes to the championship, just look at the teams right now who are playing in the AFC and NFC championship, and look at when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl. Everybody had an identity. And they all have, and the Falcons don't have an identity. I think Belichick would bring in identity, and he would lend his expertise to the Falcons organization, give them about 3 years or whatever, and then the Falcons can take that and build on to greatness. So I think he would be a great addition, but I also know that Belichick is not that person where if he doesn't say certain things to the media, then can't nobody say it, right? So when you got a CEO who's supposed to be over the head coach, and then you got a GM supposed to be over the head coach, they're like, hold on, we hired you. So if they can squash that and just keep everything secret, then, hey, just follow the coach. I think he'll be a great fit. I think he'll teach these guys a whole lot about team play, which sometimes you get a lot of individuals on the team and everybody thinks it's about them. And if Belichick comes here, everybody, believe me, they just going to do their job. And I think the Falcons have enough talent, and all they missing is a leader that can jail that talent and get them a new identity, and they can win, I believe, the following upcoming season.
You know, Sully says, say it loud. Yes, sir. Say it loud, Tyrone. And Todd is saying what some of the other media guys are saying, that he ain't coming here because Rich McKay and others don't want to give up their position.
Yep. There you go.
Of authority.
So that's why I said, man, you got to ask them, are they doing this because are these guys in this position, Rich McKay and all these guys, is it really about the team or is it really about you? Right? If it's about the team, I'm like, shoot, you know what? It's almost like a team. We're going to sign this guy for 1 year. They talking about Dominique Sue, right? All right, if we try to win this game, we try to win the Super Bowl, man, forget about all that other stuff. If he fits, right? Let's sign him for this season and let's win this Super Bowl. All the other stuff, squash it. So that's, again, maybe one of the reasons why the Falcons can't win. They got too many guys that don't want to relinquish their individuality to conform a team environment. So I don't know.
Well, I do want to say, I'm going to read Sullivan's message. She said, why don't you be the head coach for the Falcons, Tyrone?
Nah, man, I'm like,
but I do want to say that I agree. Todd said
Belichick comes in.
Tyrone needs to be on staff. We all agree with that. Tyrone definitely needs to be on the Falcons staff. But I agree with Tyrone. When you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they did when they hired Tom Brady and brought him in here, we knew that he was the general manager. He was the head coach. He was the offensive coordinator. He was everybody. And they let him take control because they knew of his greatness and his talent and his abilities. And just think of what would not have happened if they did not allow him to do what he did and bring in who he saw fit and who he wanted and let him be all of those positions in one. Had they stopped him, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would not have won the Super Bowl that year. So I agree with Tyrone. And as I said last week, why would you not want to hire the best coach in the game of football right now? He is amazing. He can do so much for the team. And like Tyrone was saying, also bring an identity to the team. But if you have an opportunity to have greatness in your locker room and in your team, why wouldn't you do it? That honestly makes no sense, especially if your goal is to win a Super Bowl and you have someone who has done it multiple times and who knows how to coach it. To me, it's a no-brainer. That's just my opinion. Sorry.
Yeah, and can I add this here right quick behind you, Tree? I'm gonna throw in. I'm not saying Belichick is Jesus by no means. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm gonna use an example. The reason why the Pharisees didn't want Christ to come in because they knew Christ was going to expose. You guys been doing this for years and years and years, and I come in here and I do it right away. So somebody needs to go. So again, that's another reason why you keep people out, because you know when you know that they know how to win, and you know you've been dragging your foot, it puts pressure on you. So I just want to say that.
H.C. Hardy said Belichick will put everyone on notice, even the front office. Do your job. Yes, he would. H.C. Hardy also said, and even maybe a disagreement with who he wants as his QB, Cam Newton. He said Today his will play for only one team. Today he will play for only one team, which is the Falcons.
Yeah, so
Cam Newton will play for the Falcons, but he won't play for anybody else.
Right, and Cam's podcast, that's something he mentioned. He said if the Falcons do hire Bill Belichick, he said he'd love to come out of retirement and play for Belichick. And if you listen to Belichick's comment when they had Newton, he said Cam Newton did everything that we asked him to do on that team. Yeah, everything. So there's no doubt. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank, but I guarantee you, Bill Belichick and Cam Newton, they would find a way to get to that Super Bowl. I would not be shocked. And here's the thing, guys. The realities is when the Falcons had brought in coaches that have had experience with having their teams in the playoffs, even as an offensive defense or defensive coordinators, in every case, the Falcons have went to at least the NFC Championship game. When they had Dan Reeves, obviously a guy that played in Super Bowls, had coached in Super Bowls, he got them there. You look at Mike Smith, who ironically, a guy that nobody knew, great defensive coordinator for Jacksonville when they went to playoffs a couple of times. He actually, to this day, has the best overall winning record as a Falcons coach. Got them to the playoffs 5 times with a young Matt Ryan. And then, of course, we know with Dan Quinn, as bizarre as he was, because he had experience with Seattle, going to the Super Bowl, he got the Falcons to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be interesting. Bill Belichick, he may not be user-friendly, but it's not about that, right? It's about winning.
Exactly.
Last comment on social media before we wrap it up. Go ahead.
Sullivan said, if Bill Belichick comes, you know he's probably going to sign Cam or Cousin. Yeah.
And let me say this too. You mentioned Dan Reeves. I'm glad you did that. Most of the coaches that you look at that the Falcons have brought in, the only coach that ever coached the Falcons that had championship pedigree was Dan Reeves, right? And you see how Dan Reeves kind of ran the team. Now, you bringing in a guy who has almost 150 times the experience, knowledge, and expertise of Dan Reeves. So the guy knows how to win, right? It's almost like I feel like sometimes these high school, I'm going to talk about high school colleges. I'm still making a story of how certain people don't want certain people to come in because they will expose, right? But isn't the purpose is to win, right? So the reason why you don't see a lot of professional athletes coming in to help out these high schools, because these high school coaches don't want it, because they know if they bring in a person who has years and years and years and years and years of doing this, it's going to expose all of that craziness that they are doing. And people going to say, hey, you've been doing this wrong for years. So now it puts his job in jeopardy. So that's why people don't bring in great people. So sometimes it's tough being great, because people become fearful of you. But isn't the purpose at the end of the day to make people better, to win? So the teacher is only as good as the experience that the teacher has been exposed to. You get a great teacher, you're going to have great students. So it's almost like we try to keep people down so we can stay on top. But I thought we were supposed to put everybody on top. That's what I can't get. That's what I don't understand.
Only thing I can tell you is this, is that I have experienced this firsthand. I've seen it. It's a weird thing that we get sometimes in land. All right, last two comments here from Mr. H.C. Hardy on social media. Go ahead.
If Belichick will win games, Cam Newton will sell tickets, but Cam has to humble himself. True. He is the face of not only the franchise, but the city. Facts. I agree, H.C. Hardy.
Well, brother, I think you wrapped it up nicely. All right, guys, you know how we do it. Anytime we stop this broadcast and ending, we want to make sure that you guys know how you can find out more about our co-host and our guests. So you know how we do it. Mr. Tyrone Poole, the floor is yours.
Hey, everybody. Again, I appreciate everybody watching Real Talk Sports, supporting Jonathan. You can also follow me at Tyrone Poole 38, all social media. And also, go get you some African mango, right? Go get you some African mango. You're going to lose some weight. You try to lose some weight, increase your metabolism. Go get some Work That Thing African mango. Only found at workthatthing.com. Workthatthing.com, African mango. Take that weight out, baby. Get shredded.
You know I need to do that. Thank you, Tyrone. Appreciate you, sir. All right, Tree Goldman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Go Lions, one pride. You can find me on social media at Purple Diva 13, as well as Ms. America International 2022.
All right, guys, the Queen has spoken. All right, everybody. Like I said, I'm a real life minister. Did not get my license off the cereal box, the real deal. So, before I let you go, I always want to encourage you. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, please, ma'am, please circuit it on today. Nobody, absolutely nobody loves you like Jesus. He came here fully man, fully God, died for your sins, but he rose from the dead. So this is the great news. If you repent of your sins and believe that, two great things are now available to you. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become an adoptive child of God with all the rights therein. That means you now go to God, not as like just some mysterious spirit in the air, but he's like your father. And you ask him for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you die, you go to the most spectacular place ever created, called heaven. We're none of the following there. No bad people, no pandemic, no pain. You never get old, you never die, and you now see God and Mighty Yahashua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, face to face, along with all the people of love. And you avoid that nasty place called hell, where all the things that are in heaven won't be in hell. So think about this. You're going to be with the demons, Satan, all the evil people from all the history of the world. It'll be dark, it'll be dreary and painful. But most of all, you're cut off from God and Jesus Christ forever and a day. I don't know about you, but I like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until the next time we get back together, we simply say to you, God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening or day, whichever may apply. So long, and God bless.